They called security to remove me from the restaurant. Little did they know, I once protected this entire country. This veteran story begins on a cold Friday evening at Riverstone Grill. It's one of those upscale spots where the chandeliers cost more than most people's cars, and the wine list reads like a dictionary. It's the kind of place where appearance matters more than character, where designer labels speak louder than words, and where a man like Marcus Cole would never be welcome. Marcus was 52 years old, though life on the streets had made him look older. His gray-streaked beard hadn't been trimmed in weeks. His faded army jacket hung from shoulders that were once broad and powerful. His boots were held together with duct tape. Everything he owned in this world fit inside a small backpack. But his eyes told a different story. Sharp, watchful, constantly scanning. They were the eyes of a man who learned long ago that danger could come from any direction. Marcus pushed through the glass doors. The warm air hit him like a blessing. He hadn't felt real heat in 3 days. The hostess looked up, and her practiced smile vanished the moment she saw him. "Good evening," Marcus said quietly. "I have money. I'd just like a warm meal." He placed a crumpled $20 bill on the counter. Honest money, 6 hours holding a sign at the highway exit. The hostess stared at the bill like it was contaminated. "Sir, I don't think this establishment is suitable for you." A man appeared behind her, mid-30s, slicked back hair, expensive suit. His name tag read, Bradley, manager. He looked at Marcus the way someone looks at garbage. "We have a dress code," Bradley sneered. "And frankly, you're disturbing our guests. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." "I have money. I just want to eat." Security. 2 large men approached. The restaurant grew quiet. Diners watched, some curious, most disgusted. A woman in pearls whispered loud enough for Marcus to hear, "Just throw him out already." Marcus's jaw tightened. He had faced Taliban fighters in Afghanistan. He had survived 3 IED explosions. He had carried wounded brothers through enemy territory. But this casual cruelty from people who had never sacrificed anything cut deeper than any wound. The guards grabbed his arms. Then a voice cut through the crowd. "Stop." A woman stood up from a corner table. Early 40s, sharp features, intelligent eyes. A notebook sat beside her wine glass. Everything about her radiated quiet authority. "Leave him alone," she said. "I'll pay for his meal. He can sit with me." Bradley's face reddened. "Ma'am, this man is hungry." Her voice was ice. "That's what restaurants are for." Bradley hesitated, then waved off security. Marcus nodded at the woman, not groveling, just one dignified person acknowledging another. "Thank you." "Elena," she replied. "Elena Vasquez, come sit down." At her corner table, Elena slid the menu toward him. "Order whatever you want." Marcus ordered a steak, medium rare. When was the last time he'd had a real steak? He couldn't remember. When the food arrived, he ate slowly, savoring every bite, refusing to wolf it down like the starving man he was. He still had his dignity. Elena watched him. Something about him didn't fit. The economy of his movements, the way his eyes had swept the room when he entered, cataloging exits. "You're military," she said. Marcus paused. "What makes you say that?" "The way you sit with your back to the wall, the way you hold your knife. My father served in Vietnam. I know the signs." Marcus was quiet. Then, "Yeah, I served." From behind them, Bradley's voice cut in. The manager had been hovering, listening. "Oh, please," Bradley laughed. "Let me guess. You were a Navy SEAL, right? Saved the world?" Marcus didn't turn around. "I don't recall inviting you into this conversation." "I'm just saying." Bradley walked closer, emboldened by the watching diners. "You know how many homeless guys claim to be veterans? Stolen valor. Pathetic." Elena's eyes flashed. "That's enough." "No, I'm curious." Bradley leaned against a chair, smirking. "What did you do in the Navy, old man? Swab the deck?" Marcus finally turned. His eyes were flat. "I was a SEAL." Then Bradley burst out laughing. "A Navy SEAL, a homeless Navy SEAL." He wiped his eyes. "What was your call sign? Captain Cardboard?" An older man at a nearby table stood up. Silver hair, perfect posture, expensive watch. Something about him suggested real authority. "Which team?" he asked quietly. Marcus met his eyes. "Team 3. 4 deployments. Ramadi, Fallujah, Kunar Province." Bradley scoffed. "Anyone can Google that. Prove it. Show credentials." "I don't need to prove anything to you," Marcus said. "I know what I did. My brothers know." "Because you can't prove it." Bradley's voice rose. "You're a fraud, a liar." "That tattoo on your arm." Alina's voice cut through. She was staring at Marcus's forearm. His sleeve had written up, revealing faded ink, a trident, an eagle clutching an anchor. "That's a SEAL trident," Elena said slowly. "You don't get that from Google. You don't get that from anywhere except Coronado." Bradley's smile faltered. "It's probably fake." "Show credentials," someone called from the crowd. "If you're really a SEAL." "Prove it or admit you're lying," Bradley added. The restaurant fell silent, every eye locked onto Marcus Cole. For a long moment, he didn't move. Then, slowly, he reached into his jacket. Bradley stepped back. "What are you?" Marcus pulled out a worn leather pouch, old, cracked, held together by habit. He set it on the tablecloth and opened it. 3 medals gleamed under the chandelier light. Purple hearts. 3 of them. And beneath them, a Navy Distinguished Service Medal. The restaurant went absolutely silent, the kind of silence that has weight. Elena's hand went to her mouth. "Oh my God." The older man walked toward the table, his face pale. "Son," he said, his voice cracking, "what's your name?" "Marcus Cole, Petty Officer First Class, retired." The older man's breath caught. "Cole? Marcus Cole?" A whisper now. "From Operation Red Wings Relief Team?" Marcus looked up. You know about that? Know about it? The man's voice broke. I was SEAL Team Command. We studied your extraction at Coronado. You carried 2 wounded brothers 6 miles through enemy territory, through the mountains, through enemy fire. Tears streamed down his face. You saved my nephew, Brian Morrison, Team 3. The silence was deafening. Bradley's face drained of color. His mouth opened and closed. No sound came out. 3 Purple Hearts, wounded 3 times, and he kept going back. The older man, Captain Richard Hayes, retired, straightened to attention, and saluted. Petty Officer Cole, he said, voice thick. It is an honor, sir. Others began to stand. A young man with a Marine Corps pin, an elderly woman, Army nurse Vietnam, a middle-aged man with a slight limp. They stood, hands over hearts. Half the restaurant was standing now. For the man they had wanted to throw in the street. Bradley stumbled backward, face white, hands trembling. I didn't, he croaked. I'm sorry, I didn't. Marcus looked at him. No anger, no triumph, just bone-deep exhaustion. You didn't know, Marcus said quietly. That's the point. You never know who's standing in front of you. He gathered his medals carefully, placing them back in the pouch. Each one represented blood, pain, brothers lost. He stood to leave. Wait. Elena pulled out a business card. I'm a journalist with the Washington Tribune. I'd like to tell your story, if you'll let me. Marcus looked at the card. I'm not looking for pity. This isn't about pity, it's about awareness. Heroes like you are sleeping on streets while people like him, she glanced at Bradley, look away. Maybe if people hear your story, things change. Marcus was quiet. I don't care about me, he finally said. But my brothers, the ones who didn't make it, their sacrifices deserve to be remembered. He took the card. Elena's article was published the following Tuesday. The headline, The Seal They Threw Away. Within 48 hours, it had been shared 3 million times. Donations poured in, over $200,000. News stations called, politicians made statements. The VA reached out with assistance they should have provided years ago. Marcus could have taken the money and disappeared. Instead, he opened a shelter for homeless veterans in San Diego. He named it Brothers House. For the ones who didn't make it back, he said at the opening, and for the ones who got lost along the way. Bradley resigned the week after the article went viral. The internet does not forgive. But when asked if he had anger toward Bradley, Marcus shook his head. He didn't know. Most people don't. They see the surface, the clothes, the dirt, and think they know the story. But they don't. That's why we have to be kinder. The person you dismiss might be carrying burdens you can't imagine. This veteran story reminds us that heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they wear torn jackets. Sometimes they sit on street corners, invisible to the world that forgot them. Never judge by appearances. The person you dismiss today might have saved lives you'll never know about. Subscribe to Hidden Veteran Stories for more. Honor those who served in silence.